Okay, there we go. Hello and welcome back to Gaming Source Network, your number one source for all things gaming. This is the GSN Round Table Podcast, episode 60. My name is Scarlett, and we have got a wonderful show tonight. And you guys are probably wondering what's going on. Avery is not doing too hot. He is taking a break today, so I am stepping in with the wonderful crew and our wonderful guest, Lee. But let's get to this. With me tonight, we've got the Dan the Man.
The Dan the Man.
Yeah, the Dan the Man. And
I'm used to a bit more of a
lead up. Yeah, I know. Avery's got it all figured out. I'm sure he's got this list somewhere to the side of everything he says. We've got Rock, who's not a rock. He is amazing.
Oh, bless you.
And we've got our guest, Stadia Dad, also known as Lee.
How you doing? You all right?
Absolutely swell, thank you.
Awesome stuff.
Okay, so then what do we do next? Okay, so before we get started...
Wait for Anthony. That's what we do.
Yeah, we usually wait for Anthony for a couple seconds. Before we get started, did you know that you can get the Roundtable as a podcast? Search for Gaming Source Network on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get podcasts. Also, if you're watching us live, we want you to be part of the conversation, so go ahead and say hi in the chat. And if you want to be sure that your message is up during the show, use the Super Chat or Super Sticker feature on YouTube to show your support for GSN. Last but not least, you can join GSN right here on YouTube. Members get amazing perks from exclusive community play live streams to early access videos to GSN merch. So click the join button below to learn more and become a member. Lee, it's fantastic to have you on. How are you doing? And tell us a little bit about you.
I'm thrilled to bits to be here, to be honest. I never thought, I only started streaming 3 months ago, and look at me now. I'm on the GSN. Wow. So thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm good. Like I say, just really surprised to be here.
Oh, bless him.
So how'd you get started in games? I know you on your channel you tell us you're 43 or something.
43, the ripe old age of 43.
You're pretty young. So how'd you get started on games?
I started gaming when I was about 7 years old. My parents bought me, I don't know if you know about the ZX Spectrum 48K for Christmas. And it was literally just a little keyboard, rubber keys, and a tape deck. And you put the tape in, slam it down. Did you put in loads? I can't remember now. Press play, and it'd load up, take about an hour. And yeah, these little games that you used to play. And that's how I started. All the way back then.
It's a great way to start.
Yep.
All right, so let's see here. I'm already forgetting things. This was supposed to go up. So now that we're back onto this can go up, what have we been playing? We're going to go ahead and start with Dan. What have you been up to this week, Stadia, GFN, or otherwise?
What have I been playing? I played some Outriders. I kind of got through the tutorial. You may have seen something on Twitter about me ranting that I wanted to play Outriders with someone who wasn't on Stadia, so therefore the patch isn't available for Stadia just yet, which means I could play with that person, which was annoying. But I also had to sit through a 40-minute tutorial as well just to be able to find out that I couldn't play with this person. So I wasn't happy bunny, but first world problems, eh?
Yeah.
But, overall, I'm enjoying the game so far. Once that patch actually goes live, hoping to jump in with a few familiar faces around the community as well. It wasn't a game I was going to pick up originally, but I've heard good things about it, so I decided to give it a try. Other than that, I've actually been playing some like family-friendly games today, because there's 2 minors that basically my friends' kids that wanted to play Stadia as well, so they wanted to play things like Cake Bash, Get Packed, Humans Fall Flat. So it just kind of rotated, around those type of family-friendly games as well for them. So it was actually the first time I've ever played Cake Bash, and I regret not playing it sooner, to be fair. And then obviously the usual Pokemon Go, but we won't go into that because it's not Pokemon Go source. So,
well, Dan, we can always ranch.
I've started it now, Anna.
Yep. All right, Rock, what you been up to?
Yeah, well, I've also been playing Outriders, but on Xbox because it's free over there. So sorry about that, Dan. I'm obviously a couple of patches ahead of you. I've played about 36 hours, I think, of Outriders. So I finished the main campaign and I'm about halfway through all of the side quests and sort of some of the end game stuff. But it is, it feels like it's about 6 months from where it should have been in terms of, they should have released it in a few months from now. I think it's undercooked, but it is very addictive, particularly, I know, Dan, you and I, we both love a bit of Destiny, any of that kind of grindy, looter-shootery stuff. This is right up our street. So that's the part I'm really enjoying. I've done a bit of matchmaking, but not a huge amount, and that's working quite well. But yeah, I mean, it's going to make a big difference once the patches are applied in Stadia.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Lee, what you been up to?
I have not been playing Outriders, not purchased it yet due to what the guys were talking about, but I'm still very, very tempted by it. I keep watching reviews and all these different videos on it, and I'm so tempted, and my finger's been hovering on that buy button so many times, but I've been waiting. But no, I've been playing a bit of Far Cry New Dawn, replaying through that again because I think it's an amazing little 8 hour game to play through. We've just been playing, actually, with Emma, my wife, some Family Feud. And it ended on the oddest question of things you'd find on a teenager's floor. And one of the answers was CDs in 2021. I mean, who was going to get that?
My mind went somewhere else.
It wasn't CDs I was thinking of either.
No,
it might have been a couple of the letters.
But and some FIFA 21 as well, which the less said about that the better, really, because we played with the community on a Friday night and I had one of the worst nights ever. Honestly, they were rugby and cricket scores that were going past me, so we won't talk about that anymore.
All right, well then, moving on. What have I been up to? I have been helping my husband restart his Animal Crossing, because it had also been a year since he played last. So I hoarded a bunch of the stuff that he didn't want to lose when he reset the games. There was crap all over my island, and then when he restarted, we shuffled it all back onto his island. So he's got like, I don't know, $1 million and basically paid off his house now. And yeah, so he's like skirting on by. But that's pretty much it. A little bit more Poke Cafe because it's adorable.
You get Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that. So I'm gonna be all over that. All right. We're also going to go ahead and say hi to some of the people who are here in chat. We've got Eli and this suspicious person,
Skyver.
We got Emma Stadia Mom, or Mum.
My good lady wife.
We got Ray. We got Charles. We got this other suspicious person. Let's see here. Codex Gaming. Okay, you guys, like, why are you also in the chat and in here? Anyway. We got InLead. Who else we got in here? We've got Daniel Okanek. You're a new
the guy
face.
that sits next to me at work.
Oh, really?
Hello.
Yeah.
Wow.
He hears me talk about Stadia Source all the time. It's like, yeah.
Oh, hi, Daniel.
He's probably sick of it by now. So. Hi, Dan. You're famous
Well,
now.
awesome. We've got lots of fun people here. We got new people here.
I just
So
wanted
thanks.
to address this one as well. No, we just switched the living room and the dining room now and made this into an office. So my computer's here, my partner's computer's on the other side of the room. Still kind of working on the background. There's still some things that need putting away just down there, but like I do have kind of a better display. But I don't know if you remember, I had the high seat behind me before, but like obviously it come up to about here, so you couldn't really see anything behind me. So I've had to nick the missus chair, but the problem is you can't lean back on it because it goes all the way back.
I do that and fall over.
But it's a little bit more prettier behind me now, so we'll get there. Not as
Get
good
there.
as Rock's.
Yeah, Rock's layout.
I know,
is
it's confused me.
phenomenal.
When he first joined the chat, it had the GSN, you know, the YouTube thumbnail, and I was like, I thought for a minute that he'd got it like printed out on a big board or something. I was like, that's dedication. That.
Yeah.
And then it all of a sudden started moving. I was
The
like,
Scarlet, let's be honest.
but yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. We love having you here. Let's go ahead and move on. We're going to move into the news roundup. All right. Up first, we're going to be talking about some Stadia news. What do we got here? We have Floor Kids released. I will be honest, I don't know what this is.
I mean, all I've
Anybody?
seen is the trailer, to be fair, and it looks like a breakdancing type game. Not really
Sort
my
of
cup of tea, but
I saw one of the guys on the SBCN streaming it last night, and it's very much one of those rhythm-based sort of games, very much like Avicii. Obviously, you've got a guy breakdancing, and you've got to get it in the right time at the right moment. It's very addictive, actually. It looks quite good.
Yeah, no, it does look very good. It's got original music by Kid Koala, who I'm assuming is an Australian DJ, and all the art styles by some artist called John John, who, again, I'm assuming in his own world is well known. But it's got a nice arty feel, and there's all sorts of different musical-based games. So you know, you can even do dance-offs. I think it's got multiplayer, and I think it's cross-platform as well, but I may be wrong. But it actually does look pretty good. It's won a load of awards. So it's a good game, and I think it's reasonably priced. It's what's it about?
$11.99.
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm.
no, it was $19.99 for that.
Oh, sorry, I
It
apologise.
was the other one that was on discount.
Yeah,
Right.
I think Kid Koala was tweeted about it yesterday. Actually,
Was he? Do you know much about Kid Koala, Lee?
I haven't got the foggiest, my friend. I've got about as much knowledge as Kid Koala as you have.
I just
But,
imagine he's got a little button nose and cute eyes.
Stadia retweeted it. That's how I saw it. So
You know me and modern folk and their music. It's not really my thing. You know, maybe a bit of Mantovani or Mozart would have gone down for me.
Can you break
Very
dance to
cultured.
Mozart?
I do remember somebody did bring out
There's-
some dance
there's-
Mozart stuff.
Yeah, in like what is it? It was a like ye old DDR Dance Revolution, and they had it was I can't even. It was like one of the most popular songs too, but it was some like breakdance version of Mozart music, and it was actually pretty good.
Down there.
Yeah.
It was a dance match.
Excellent.
Is there?
I learned how to master DDR with the controller, so
Wow. Can you spin on your head, Dan? Have you ever mastered
Not
that?
yet.
No, you're working on
I'm
it.
thinking like
Working on
I'm
it.
getting a bit of a bold patch here. Once it's bold enough, it might. If I do it on a laminate flooring, it might go around pretty well.
squeak.
So is that what Clive was, a breakdancer in his youth then? Is that what
Maybe.
he's
All
watching?
right. Moving on. Lore Kids out now. We've also got the Darkside Detective, A Fumble in the Dark is out now as well. We talked a little bit about Darkside Detective last week, I believe, and it's funky humor and it's funky looks, but it kind of seems like a fun game. Anybody excited about this one?
I've watched John Scars play it. He seemed pretty good. I don't think it's my cup of tea, to be honest, but I think there's plenty out there that it'll appeal to.
Was this the one that was meant to be free with Pro, or was it the other one?
Yeah, I think it was the first one.
The first one was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of bitter at the whole series because of that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I hear you. It's supposed to be very good. Again, if you like that kind of retro 8-bit look, then fantastic. And there's a ton of them on Stadia. It's not my thing, but I know John. You're right. John Scars thinks it's superb.
Yeah.
And he loved the first one as well. I think they're good for that genre if you're into that kind of a game, and they're perfect for Stadia because of course you can play them on mobile or tablets or your laptop, and they're kind of. You're not going to get a degradation in the resolution, but it's not my kind of thing.
It's one of those that you'd let it pass you by until it drops on Pro for me.
Yes.
It's one of those.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was planning to do, yeah.
Yeah, and then even then I'd probably dip in it now and again just to see what it was like. But
yeah. The trouble with anything that's kind of sub $20, you sort of expect it to go to Pro at some point, don't you?
Avery's philosophy as well.
Of course, if you don't have a Pro subscription, then it's not an issue. You're going to have to buy it at some point. But if you do, then you're probably as wise to sit it out or try it for a couple of hours. And if it's not your thing, get a refund.
I mean, we did get £1 off or something today, like discount from the original price.
Okay,
something like that.
Seemed a bit like why, but I'll take it.
Well, you could buy a lolly.
Yeah.
Like I say, wait for that 100% discount on Pro.
There you go. Also out, Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4. I always keep wanting to say Trials. Another one that I don't know a whole lot about, but it seems kind of interesting. Anybody here excited for this one too? It's just kind of a shoulder stretch for me.
Yeah.
And the thing is with RPGs is they require a lot of time and effort, to get through them. And I used to be a big Final Fantasy fan. I used to play, 40 plus hours of Final Fantasy games and stuff like that. But I barely have enough time to game what with being an adult and working on everything as it is. So
never stop me.
No, but I like games that I can kind of jump in and out of really quickly and not have to worry too much. Yes. Like with this type of thing, you kind of have to stick with it for an hour or so to get involved, get engrossed in the storyline. Yeah. And I can't commit to it, but it's a shame because I see these games and I think I probably would like this. I fully meant to play the Dragon Quest. I think it was Dragon Quest game.
Oh man, Dragon Quest is so good.
I was going to play that on stream before I did the Kaze and the Wild Masks, but I've still not even redeemed the code yet. So, I'm sure I'll get around to it at some point. But again, I think there's another one of these, the Trails of Cold Steel, wasn't there? That come out.
I'm assuming there's 1 to 4 somewhere out there.
Yeah, on Stadia, we got. I think it was 3 or something not long ago.
Yeah, we did.
The only thing I'm going to say about these games, and the thing that annoys me about them, is because they have about 80 add-ons for the game, different costumes and different packs you can buy. And of course, me. I have to update our database with all of the things on. So I had to sit there and spend 2 hours adding all the images and all the data to the database. And it was wow. I doubt anybody even realizes I've even done it, to be fair, but it is what it is.
That is why it is the best website out there, my friend, bar none.
Yeah, I'm very much like Dan. I've been a father of 2. I just don't have the time for those sort of games. And echoing what Dan says, something I can dip in and out of, an hour here, an hour there, and something like that. Very narrative heavy.
That's interesting, isn't it? And in a way, that's one of the reasons that I think Stadia appeals to so many people. It's that casual aspect.
Yep.
And so these more complicated games like Humankind is one of those that's, you just no way can you dip in and out. You've got to devote days to get your head into it. Yeah. And it sort of doesn't quite appeal to a lot of the people who play Stadia, who, like you, Dan, I'm the same. I'm like a butterfly. I mean, if I can't get the game in an hour, then I'm probably going to drop it. And the interesting thing is that Trails 4 here is $60, so it's a full price game. If you're going to pay that kind of money, you know, you need to know that you're going to devote the time to it, give it its full stretch. And JRPGs are massively popular, so you'd know if that was a game for you anyway.
The flip side, I guess, is though that because we can play on things like mobile phones as well, like I do find myself obviously being able to play whilst I don't know, say we're laying in bed or something. You know what I mean? It's a weekend, I don't quite want to get out of bed just yet. I can, you know what I mean, boot something up on my phone or, like, God forbid, on the toilet or something. But like, you don't have to, like...
We're all the same, but none of us would have admitted to that, Dan, to be fair.
Someone's got in.
We all know when there's that time where you take the phone to the bathroom.
It's going to be a long one.
Yeah, and then you can't stand up afterwards because you've been up. So
Your legs have all gone to sleep.
Pins and needles.
Collapse on the floor.
So I mean, it's one of those things you probably could game a little bit more than you would if it was just, you know what I mean, on Xbox and it's tied to your TV in the living room or something. So there's trade-offs, I guess, but it's still something that you have to devote a lot of time to. And
I think the hard part for me when it comes to anything like this is when there's too many choices. And so, like, especially for like Monster Hunter, you come in and it's like, oh, hey, here's like 50 choices just for your face and your hair and your cat and your weapons kit. And you could probably do stuff to your house too. And it's like, but I haven't even started the game and it's been an hour just me trying to decide if I like the way I look. And so I just, that's the hard part for me. I love RPG style games. I love a story. I love being able to kind of explore the world, but I don't like when they're like, okay, so you have way too many choices now. That's the part that I can't get into.
I played, is it Black Desert on GeForce Now, actually, and that's that. And it's a really impressive looking game and great graphics. But you're right there, Scarlett. You know, you spend ages and ages defining not just the character looks, but that's what class you want to play, and then all sorts of attributes and stuff. And then you get into the game, and there's a whole bunch of things that you've got to learn. And I love the look of it. There's a big part of me that says, "Cole, you know, I really would love to spend time in this," but then there's the old butterfly me that says, "Nah."
Yeah.
Fire something up like Outriders, shoot a few things, and go and have something to eat.
I think it's with me as well. Sorry, Scarlett, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just it's a lesser degree of instant gratification. That's what a lot of people look for.
Yeah,
that's a good shout.
I think sometimes with me, like, you're faced with a new game and you're like, oh, I've got to learn how it all functions now. I've got to learn all the GUIs, got to learn all the mechanics of the game, and like sometimes
which button combinations open anything.
I mean, I played Cake Bash and it was like press X to hit the other cakes. I was like, cool, I'm done.
Perfect.
Cake Bash, such a good game. Any other thoughts on this before we move on?
Just that it's a massively popular genre, and Regal was saying in the chat that, you know, he's spent 55 hours on Dragon Quest already. So if it's your thing, then I know this has got a huge following. It's just not necessarily our thing.
Well, so that's actually these three games. All three of these games aren't games that I would play, but I understand that there's people who enjoy them. So I mean, good for it that it's on Stadia now.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh, oops. There we go. While you're on the toilet, you can also now change your Stadia menu shortcut.
Very good.
Excellent segue.
I don't know how many people really care to change it from Shift Tab to open up your menu, but I mean that's kind of been the standard, hasn't it?
It's only for the Chrome browser, so you kind of got to be playing it on a Chromebook or something, which I think if you're taking your laptop to the toilet, you've probably got a bit of a problem. But
yeah, that's possible.
Well, I might have a confession about this as well, because I think after writing this, I was told that Jem actually discovered this probably about a month or so ago. And I think he did a video on it. And looking back, I think I was like, oh, yeah, he did actually. So, but I decided to leave it there just as a kind of reminder for those that didn't know.
But like, I mean,
I forgot.
I'm assuming all of you have played via Steam at least, and I'm pretty sure Origin does this the same way. Shift tab is just how you always open up your menu. So I'm curious, actually, if anybody in chat would like to tell us what they do. Eli is saying now that he changed his to Shift Escape, which, cool there. I'm just curious, like, has anybody else changed theirs at all?
I changed it to Alt and F4, but it's not done me any favors, to be fair. It keeps closing.
It's muscle memory. If you're playing the game and you need to go and get something in, you don't have to change it and then reprogram your brain. And let's be honest, if they've had developers programming the option to change this, why couldn't they put a search bar in the home? I mean, surely there are better things that they could be working on.
But I think we have theories about that, don't we? Because if people said if you don't add a search bar in it, then you have to scroll past loads and loads of games that you might not have otherwise seen, which might entice you to buy them, or you go,
it's like when you put the milk in the back of the store, it makes you walk past everything else that you don't need to get to the essentials. And you're like, but I might actually need this.
The candy at the till. I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. But that said, it would be nice for them to maybe do a UI UX update on the CCU, unless that's going to get completely abandoned soon.
Yeah, because we was playing on the Chromecast Ultra earlier, and just scrolling left.
Is it me, or is it just getting slower as well?
Yeah.
Well, the more you've got, because it has to load all the assets and stuff, and
and there's a tiny amount of memory in that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do need to do something, like whether you can pin games to your start or something, or make it so that they're smaller squares and you can go have 3 in a row or something. They need to do something, but I'm sure someone
they need to get on. They need to get you in there, Dan. I'm just looking at the Stadia Source website. Every time I look at this, it gets better and better.
It really does.
Now, what feature have they added now that I've not told?
I scrolled down and I found Stadia Source on the web and recent activity there, and it's a thing of beauty, my friend. That's all I can say. People should be on this. And the GeForce Now, the GFN Source site as well. Absolutely beautiful piece of work. Gorgeous. I don't know how you find the time. We shouldn't say this with Daniel Okaboka in the chat there, because he's going to wonder what's he's supposed to be working. Is he working on this website?
Dan and his websites, they're a thing of beauty, and I love them.
Really
all right, so let's see here. Ubisoft has also shared a 2021 roadmap for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I haven't looked at it because I don't play these games, but I do enjoy a good roadmap because it lets me keep track of where people are, so that's kind of fun.
I think Lee wrote this one, C-Troop. And
no, I didn't. It wasn't me.
I was just thinking, there's a couple of guys in the chat that are looking forward to this news. Stadia Pro Gaming and Stadia Vet Gaming as well. They're absolutely crazy. And Ray,
and me,
3473, and you, yeah.
I love this game. Love it.
They'll be
I think it was the
straight
first game I actually bought on Stadia, or one of the first ones I bought on Stadia. It's a great game.
I think I've got it because someone in my family has bought it and shared it, but I've not actually played it yet. So
do we know what's in the roadmap, out of interest? Or I'm on the Stadia Source website. I'm having a look.
I know.
Where are we? Because we've got we've got Ubisoft's Forward in June. I saw that earlier. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Well, mine's not even loading at the moment because obviously the content creator section, it only updates when I log in to stop it from happening when everybody logs in. So sometimes every so often it just freezes on me for 10 minutes.
I've got it. So it says, do you want me to read it? Ubisoft has given, I'm just going to do it anyway. Ubisoft has given a brief glimpse of what new content and updates it will be bringing to Ghost Recon Breakpoint this year. So beginning with the title update 4.0.0, which arrives before the end of spring. So should be, what would that be? End of May, June?
Thereabouts.
This update is being labeled as the Teammate Experience Update. I won't read the comments. And then there's another one, 4.1.0, coming up later in the year. So Teammate Experience, I guess, is going to build on the AI, because, when they first launched the game, you didn't have teammates like you did in the previous Breakpoint. People went, no, it was a staple of it. So they've introduced them, and I'm guessing. So this title update will focus on AI teammates. We knew that adding them to the game was only the first step, and we're happy to announce that their capabilities will be further improved. The only thing I want, I don't know if you guys ever played the previous Breakpoint, is the ability to kill people with my drone. That's all. I just used to go and hide behind a tree and send my drone out and do all the hard work for me.
As someone who's never played this, I feel like that should be something that exists.
It should exist.
Like, it's a drone that, like, why is this not already a thing?
I used to just fly into people and blow them up.
I nearly actually did that in real life, if I'm honest.
You did it in real life?
I mean, I have a drone, and one day we decided, me and my father-in-law, to go and fly it down the local washlands, like just big open area. You know what I mean? No one nearby to upset or harm or anything. And I forgot to screw one of the blades on properly. Right, so. However, there is a main road bridge on the leftmost side of the washlands, but we kind of tend to stop before we get anywhere near that bridge, so we're not flying over real cars and stuff like that. So I got it up in the air, and it was fine for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it started spinning around on the spot as the blade came loose, and next thing you know, it just went down and it landed on top of the bridge. Ooh. And literally, I don't know how it didn't hit a car or a car didn't run over it. It landed on the double yellow lines at the side of the road, and like it broke the camera, broke something else on it. So it's all back to normal now. But like I honestly pooed my pants. It was like, because if that had landed on a car or something, you know what I mean? Like that could have caused some serious injury. And obviously, I wasn't in control of it when it was spinning round, so that's how it ended up on the bridge. But the fact that it didn't cause any damage or get damaged other than the actual crash itself was true. And I think I've flown it once since.
You weren't out on Heathrow a couple of years back with your father.
No, that wasn't me.
This is GSN Round Table Podcast, the Confessions of Dan series. As we've learned much about our dear founder today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can honestly say I hadn't played Ghost Recon Breakpoint before flying the drone, and it's kind of put me off a little bit now. So
horrible memories.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Well, then, if you're looking for more fights than Dan, you might want to check out Power Rangers Battle of the Grid. It's going to have a crossover with Street Fighter.
Whoa.
It is indeed.
Ooh. I know Anthony is a Power Rangers player, so he's super stoked about this. I mean, Street Fighter is pretty classic. It's your beat 'em up game. I've even played stuff like this before too. So I mean, it's fun. It's fun to get crossovers like this that kind of don't really relate. Like Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn is now going to be a character in Fortnite. Like they don't mix.
Don't forget, actually, going back to Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I don't know if you noticed it at the bottom of the article that Rock was just reading a moment ago. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider's going to be implemented into it as well, so we've got another crossover in that respect as well. I think she's also in Fortnite as well, isn't she? At the moment,
she is at the moment. Yeah. My son's told me many a time.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, because Lara Croft is obviously completely fictional, and Breakpoint, I know it's fictional, but it's kind of sort of in the kind of contemporary.
It's
I can't see how you bring the two
fiction
together. Yeah. It's like, we're bringing Phoenix. You know, the God and Monsters, we're going to bring those characters in as well. I mean, at what point not? But then they did have Terminator in there, I suppose. So they've got previous, haven't they?
I was playing one of the.
Point out. Oh no, you go ahead.
Okay, so I was just saying that I was playing one of the Tomb Raiders game the other day, and my 9-year-old son came in and says, "Oh look, it's that woman off Fortnite."
Oh dear.
So, yes. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Come on, son, you need educating.
Yes.
Wow. Stadia Dad needs to do some parenting.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not doing my job properly.
Homeschooling.
Well, I was just thinking. Okay, I'll finish my thought. I was just thinking, like, we have all these crossovers, and people are like, well, these characters don't belong together, and this game doesn't belong here. It's like, yeah, but how many of you guys have played Super Smash Bros? Can you really complain about it?
Yeah, and now they've got rock in the game as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
But no, when it comes to this particular crossover, I was surprised to see them actually give the Street Fighter characters like Power Ranger costumes rather than just be character models and, you know what I mean, maybe a few extra attacks. They've actually got full-blown Power Ranger costumes. So, like, it was good to see that. I don't know whether they'd ever make some sort of crossover with the TV shows or something, but
we'll see.
Ubisoft are big on all that stuff, and they do loads of. I mean, they're always doing cross promotions, and I often wonder whether money exchanges hands when they bring games into Breakpoint that aren't Ubisoft games. They've done that once or twice, so yeah, I'm sure it's all part of a bigger marketing plan.
I don't know whether anybody will be able to answer this question, but I'm pretty sure that at some point in time we did get a Tekken cross with Street Fighter, in which we saw some of the Tekken characters go over to the Street Fighter games, and obviously they were rendered in the style that Street Fighter is. And there was also supposed to be a Street Fighter X Tekken one as well, which was obviously Street Fighter characters appearing in the Tekken games, but I don't think we ever saw that. And I'm a massive Tekken fan, so I know.
Is that the film with Liam Neeson, or was that something else?
Yeah, the auction.
I have a particular set of skills.
Yes, I will find you.
I just have to say Liam Neeson is probably one of my favorite actors.
He's amazing, isn't he?
In fact, someone
He's
else that I
phenomenal.
work with knows someone, or trains, like fight trainings, with someone who actually taught Liam Neeson how to fight for those films.
Oh,
Like, how
wow.
to do the
Oh,
fight scenes,
nice.
so.
Yeah, he's
Everybody
got a
knows
lovely
everybody
voice.
within 7 connections.
Yeah, there's that theory, isn't there? Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was 6 degrees of separations or something.
Is it 6 degrees?
Yeah.
Well, they adjusted it back along, didn't they? I can't remember if they added a couple of points or took a few off. But
I think it used to be like 5, and then it
Yeah.
became like.
I think
don't
you could
know,
probably
it's-
take a few points off now, given social
yeah,
media.
internet
Like,
and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll just round it up to 10.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing for Stadia that we got today, sort of, kind of, is that Risk of Rain 2 Anniversary Update is also now live on Stadia. I have yet to touch Risk of Rain. I hear it's just a really good game, though. Even for someone like me.
we played it on Stadia Source YouTube a while ago. Me, Dom, Avery, and a few other people. That's the only time I've really ever played it, but I did enjoy it, to be fair. And I'm happy that this update's finally. I know it's a little bit after the console versions and stuff like that, but I've seen the list of updates because I basically copied and pasted them into the article earlier, and there was a ton of updates. So I'm sure to people that are playing this game, you know what I mean, seriously and enjoying it, that this is probably a welcome update to them.
Yeah.
It's a fair old list as well. I checked it out just before we came on. It's a massive list of updates.
Is it?
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, I
yeah.
just copied
It's a
and pasted.
roguelike, isn't it? I can't be doing a
Yeah,
roguelike.
it's
It's like
I've-
Groundhog Day in game form.
I tried it once on my own on my channel, and I really struggled with it, to be honest. It's one of them. I think you need 2 or 3, possibly 4,
You do.
you know, to play along with you, because I didn't last long at all. I didn't last any longer than 30 minutes each time on one of my run-throughs. It's very
Don't I
difficult.
Yeah, you do. You do need to play with other people, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you
definitely.
gem, in which case it's you do it with your eyes closed.
Yeah. Yeah, you sleep.
Is
Yeah.
there any games
Be
that
anything
we've
you
actually-
want, unless you can be Gem. Then be Gem.
Yes.
Is there any games on this list that any of us have actually played tonight?
Probably no. Well, yeah, no. Breakpoint.
Risk of Rain. Played
I'm
it.
just looking. I'm just
Yeah,
going
played
through
it.
it. It's like played it seriously, like enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're talking
But
about.
I mean,
yeah,
you,
well-
don't, you don't have to, though. Like, you don't have to be playing every single game. Play the things that
It's
you enjoy,
impossible.
and that's all that it
Definitely.
takes.
Yeah, exactly. Voice of reason.
Especially when you get like 6 free games a month from Pro, it's like I
Yeah.
can't possibly play everything.
Yeah.
I don't think I've played all the pro games this month yet, actually.
I
Because
haven't
Outriders
played
came out at the
SpongeBob.
same time. I've just been stuck into
You've
that.
not tried Pikiniku yet.
I have, yeah.
I might
Oh,
find
well,
it.
it's a fabulous little game, that is.
It's
It
quite
looks,
mag-
it looks like dorky adorable, and
Oh,
like
it's-
I love dorky adorable stuff.
Yeah, it sounds daft, but it's magical. It really is. It's just a wonderful little game and some amazing little puzzles in it. I've really, really enjoyed that game. that is a little diamond in the rough there for
Just
this month's
nice
pro
to
games.
relax.
Yeah,
and
It was hugely popular amongst streamers on Twitch when it first came out. Actually, Lee, that was something I picked up a while back. Because of that, because actually it looks really like an old Flash game or something, but there's a lot to it, and it's fun to play, and it's like you said, Skull, it's kind of dorky and quirky and fun to watch. So, yeah, I can see its appeal for streaming.
Yes.
It took me back to my childhood, that very Mr. Men kind of look away.
Oh, yeah.
Look about it. That's it, yeah. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh, Mr. Men.
Yeah, fabulous game.
They were good,
All right.
Mr. Men.
Moving out of Wonderland then. We got some GFN news too. GFN did something pretty cool. It launched in Latin America, which is awesome. More players, more people coming in. Obviously none of us are in Latin American regions, but anybody in chat part of that region and excited to get into GFN?
Eddie's Brazil. Is that the whole of Latin America or just certain countries?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Dan, you want to look that up?
Yeah,
because it's huge.
We'll come back to that in just a second then.
That's great.
For those who are already members, whether you are a founder or I believe, priority is what they're called now. You can also now claim a rare Noble Oasis outfit for Spellbreak. Founders get it first, and then priority members get it next. There will be obviously enough for everybody, but they just want to give a little bit of preference to those who came first, and that's okay. So that's fun. I mean, it's kind of like Prime Gaming, where they give you some like free stuff just for being a Prime member. Like I claimed a bunch of random stuff for Destiny 2 whenever it came out. Not that I ever played Destiny 2 enough, but it's nice. It's kind of just like a little reward. Like, hey, here's something just a little extra that nobody asked for, but you'll still enjoy.
Yeah. You never look a gift horse in the mouth, do you?
Nope.
No. So I'm on the website at the moment, and it just keeps refreshing itself, to be fair. But from what I can see, it doesn't actually say whereabouts it is, and it's all in a language I don't speak anyway. So, but yeah, there's a website. It's powered by. In fact, I'll just share my screen. So it's stopped refreshing now.
Yeah, because Kumnar in chat says that they're using a third-party partner.
Yeah. What was that?
Abya.
Yeah.
ABYA.
Okay.
Abya.
So, covering Lee's
Más
face there.
potencia, más juegos.
But
Mike Wazowski.
It looks like you get all of the games that you'd get from GFN normally.
800 plus games.
Okay.
Ray tracing,
RTX and stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I mean, it's the whole thing. So that's cool. It's not like pared down to be like we're slowly going to release it into Latin America. It's all of it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So actually, there might be some localization options here. Well, no, that's just everywhere in the world. So, but you can sign up for your. You're interested in this as well. I'm guessing there might be some sort of like rollout of it rather than just releasing it all in one go. So,
what's the URL, Dan? Is it just a .com, or have they got
I guess if you take away all this at the top here, it's abya.gfn.la.
LN?
LA
for Latin America.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, or Latin America.
Well, I was there. I was round Hollywood way at that point. So maybe it's
other LA.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That's exciting. I know that frequently Stadia gets all sorts of comments like, when are you coming to this? When are you coming to that? And so, it's cool to see more platforms like trying to reach out and trying to include everybody. Because everybody should have access to something fun. Let's see here. Also from GFN, Mortal Shell is getting RTX support, and Medieval Dynasty and Observer System Redux are getting DLSS support. So all of this to make your games look more beautiful, which is always wonderful. I've tried out ray tracing on Minecraft, and at first, so I started it with it turned on, and like I hadn't played Minecraft in quite a while, so it was like, oh, this looks pretty, but like my brain didn't remember what it was like before. So then I turned it off, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Wow.
I mean, it's not terrible. Minecraft still looks great as it is, because I also have various shaders and whatnot to make it look pretty, but just having RTX as what it is, like, that was really cool. So ray tracing is so cool.
And I think not having a computer that could probably handle that natively, this is a great way for people to try it out.
For sure.
100%.
Also, 15 more games were added into support, including Negate Tale, which is a day-and-date release on Steam, which April 12th, which is that's today, right? No, 3 days ago. My bad. And it's also currently available for 15% off via the Steam store through April 18th. So if anybody here has been interested in that and has a GFN account, you can go ahead and check that out on Steam, 15% off, and play it straight away through your GFN.
We've got a tennis game, Beholder 2, Far Cry 2, Fortunes Edition, Outriders, which obviously came out everywhere as well.
Whoop, whoop.
Postal 4, No Regrets. Although, because Lee actually wrote this article, and he must have seen that and gone, there's a spelling mistake.
It's typo, yeah.
So he changed it to regrets, and I was like, no, I had to correct it, so it said regrets again.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, Sheltered, Shio, we've got Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, as we've just been talking about. I think they've got most of the Tomb Raiders on from the older consoles now on GFN. Torchlight 1 and 3, Trine. We just had Trine 4 on Stadia as well. Vigil, The Longest Night, Werewolf, The Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest, and Yes, Your Grace.
Yes, Your Grace.
Yeah, you do it better than me.
Anders in the chat says that GeForce Now will be available in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Paraguay, and Uruguay under the agreement. So, yeah, it's a fair amount of countries, though.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There's his comment. Thanks for that information.
Absolutely.
But
yeah,
cool.
GFN are kind of just on a roll at the moment. I mean, we're getting 15 games a pop, and obviously
again, though, it all comes back to the convenience of just having it all in one place. I know a lot of people probably have Steam and Epic and Origin and whatever else is in there. So being able to just access it in one place instead of having to open the launcher, have it installed or any of that. I think that's, for people who don't have a whole lot of memory space, this is the coolest thing. So they're oh, hey, this game that I own, well, now I don't have to worry about downloading it. It's right here. And so that's, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud for the win.
Indeed.
That's why most of us are here, to be fair.
Yep. 100%. Yeah.
All right. So also we have some things that kind of relate to the gaming world as a whole. There is a hotfix 1.21 for Cyberpunk 2077. The game that continues to have issues for everybody, apparently. I mean, anybody here even play this?
Yeah, I played it. I played it when it first came out. I played about 10 hours, and then I just got sick and tired of the bugs and this, that, and the other. And I know a lot of it's been fixed, but I've still not been brave enough to dive back in there yet and give it another go.
It's a whole first impressions thing.
Yeah, it really did put me off massively. And one of my good friends, Blake Stadia, he's obsessed with it. He loves it, and he tries to entice me back in, but I'm sorry, it's just been spoilt for me, unfortunately, for those first 10 hours. It's just ruined the experience. It took a whole, the immersion. It all just got taken away from me, so it's massively put me off. I'm so positive tonight, aren't I? I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Stadia.
I promote myself as the most positive man on Stadia. I've done nothing but moan tonight since I've been on here.
Do you know, I've played it for a little bit longer than that, but it wasn't the bugs that have stopped me playing. It's the game. I just can't get into it at all. I just don't like it very much. I don't know. There's something about it. I find it a bit crass for a start, and I think that's cultural. I think it's obviously CD Projekt Red, and being Eastern European, they have a kind of slightly different cultural take on the world. It's maybe 1972 circa, somewhere around there. And so Yes, on the buses. Come on, do that bus out. Come on. So yeah, it's a bit of that going on. All right, Blackie. And it's a bit of that, and it's graphically as well. Just doesn't tick it for me. No. I know it's got ray tracing if you play it on GFN or PC, but I've got it on Stadia, and it looks about as good as it's going to get for me, and I'm not really into it. Ray loves it. Ray absolutely adores it. He plays it all the time. And I'm jealous because I want to enjoy it the way those guys enjoy it. And I just can't get into it in the same way.
Yeah. So I just realized that, obviously, for this week, the UK people actually outnumber the US people.
Yeah, we got all these cultural references. Scarlett's going, yeah, what?
Well, I'm just thinking, Lee's saying he's negative about it. It's like, I'm surprised we haven't started moaning about the weather or something. But no, I'm exactly the same. I mean, I bought this game. The only reason I bought this game, if I'm honest, was for the free Premier Edition. I had zero interest in it before that. And I kind of sometimes feel bad that I haven't devoted more time to it because it does look like it could be a good game if you got into it. But then I kind of have to remind myself, no, you got your money's worth because of the Premier Edition.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I'm really only doing the same with the Resident Evil as well. Although I am a fan of the Resident Evil series, I absolutely numbers 1, 2, and 3 are probably up there in my top 10 games of all time. But I just don't like the Resident Evil since they got rid of the zombies. So hoping that, hoping once that comes along that I'll give it a try and maybe fall in love with Resident Evil again. But,
folks, if you've not seen the viral clip of Scarlett and Avery playing Resident Evil 7, Scarlett's just not looking. I'm not looking. I don't want to see it. Avery's
I'm working
fixated.
Down here.
And all of a sudden, he pushes the door open, and then Dan appears. Avery's like, "Wah!" It's absolute genius.
It's like, I quit. That's why it's not here this week. He's actually quitting.
I think you've given him PTSD, mate.
I just sit there thinking, how can I get them? How can I scare them? I was like, I've got the access to the StreamYard, so I don't need an invite to join the StreamYard. I can just log in and.
If only you had happened to do it at the exact same time when she popped back up or something like that. That would have been spot on timing.
Yeah, it was.
There was a couple parts where I actually jumped, even though I was only half paying attention. I was mostly there just for moral support, but I jumped and I was like, oh crap! I wasn't expecting that to happen.
It's probably the highlight of the entire stream for some people. I think.
Yeah, everybody's liking it and sharing it. And
it was brilliant. It was brilliant. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Honestly, it's so funny.
So, last thoughts on Cyberpunk. I'm kind of there with you guys. I love the idea, the story kind of behind the game, kind of the post-apocalyptic things have kind of gone weird. And I know it wasn't an apocalypse story, but it feels that way because the world is so different and everything's massively changed. But I just don't enjoy dark, weird, twisted nonsense like that. And there's a difference between mature and adult.
Yeah.
And I can do adult because that's when it's geared towards the older minds. These are topics that you can deal with: war, poverty, stuff like that. That's adult to me. Mature is when they do things that are sex all over the place and
aimed at 14-year-olds.
Yeah, 14-year-olds who want to be 30. Yeah. What's that show 13 going on 30? Or that movie? Watch that all the time.
I think anyway. Sorry, carry on.
No, you go ahead.
I was literally just going to say probably the highlight of Cyberpunk for me was Felix Ftendo's first ever live stream of this game on Stadia Source, and I think he forgot to put the adult filter on. So obviously he's there customizing his character and it's all hanging out, right? And you could just see him looking at the screen like, Dan's going to kill me because I've just streamed this on. You know, and then there's a mission later on where you have to carry a lady out of the bathtub, and obviously she's got no clothes on or anything. And things are kind of conveniently placed at the bottom of the screen for the entirety of you carrying her. And you can just see him like sweating, like thinking Dan's going to kill me. But I think, no, if anybody's watching this, then
you need to like
you knew
gather
what you were
the
getting
coaches in
into.
the corner.
Yeah.
Wow.
The most
Okay.
disappointing. Sorry, go on.
Nope, you're good.
I'd say the most disappointing part of it for me is the fact that Witcher 3 was such a masterpiece. It's up there for me in my top 3. And I was expecting that same quality of storytelling and gameplay, and it's just not there for me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Those first 10 hours.
I think they worried though, because they kept delaying,
Yeah.
and maybe maybe this is just how the game was always going to be. Because even if you delay to make it look better, the story is still probably going to be the same. So I actually I kind of feel bad for some of you guys who are like, I love this company,
Yeah.
and then
No, it's a good shout, and there were repercussions for a lot. I mean, their shares took a hit. There was talk of them breaking the business up. There were shareholders pulling a class action together to sue them because the game wasn't ready for release when it was released, and it was huge backlash, PR, and so on. I haven't kept up with it since. I'm not sure where they are now with everything, but for some time it was a pretty heated, pretty hot company.
Were they supposed to be getting multiplayer as well, this game?
Apparently next year, isn't it?
Because that's
think
another
it's
thing
that
can't
far
far
on.
off. Like, one of my sayings by now is I'd rather have the ability to play multiplayer and not use it than want it and not have it. So I'm one of these people that if I'm playing something like Destiny or Outriders, I want to be playing it with people that I care about. But then I also want to be able to enjoy it by myself when the time is right. So I think if I'm ever going to get into this game, which apparently Eli's just shattered my dreams and hopes. I was going to say, if I was ever going to get into it, it'd probably be when multiplayer drops and if I can get someone to play it with me. But
what's it priced at the moment? Has it dropped considerably since launch, or is it still
I know it's
floating
had
around?
a couple of sales every once in a while, hasn't it?
I don't
Probably
think
only
the
like
base
10%.
game has changed. I don't think any games really have changed too much on Stadia, if at all.
No, that's true. Not unless it's an official sale. And then it tends to bounce back afterwards.
Which, to be fair, it's a bit weird to me because obviously we're used to disc-based games. They would depreciate after time. You'd have to wait like half a year or something, and it would be half price or something. So that's what I used to do. But with them being online now, you don't really ever see the prices go down. So there's
As
a
I say,
glimmer of
Ray
hope
and
here.
others love it. I mean, they absolutely adore it, but it doesn't float my boat. As no game has today.
So
it's good that we can still talk for 60 minutes about it, though, isn't it?
That's true.
Speaking of games that suffer delays, AC Valhalla has also announced a delay in its first major expansion. But again, I'm okay with things being delayed. I would rather have things be delayed and be good than put out and tried to be fixed. Because one of the things that drives me nuts, whenever it comes to consoles specifically, is when you get the game and you put it into your console the next day after Christmas or the day of Christmas, then you have to sit there for another hour while it updates its first patch or whatever. And I understand that they're fixing it because now that the game is actually out there and been bought and whatever, they've noticed some more things. And I get that, but when it's 15 gigabytes or something like that makes zero sense. So I'm okay with delays. I also don't play Valhalla. I wanted to, and then the more that I saw about it, the less I cared. Because I'm a big Greek, Norse, all that mythology. I love all of it. So I was very excited for Valhalla because Vikings and everything that's totally my jam. But then it's just Assassin's Creed's kind of gone off the dark path. So there's a delay in its first major expansion. I don't know if you guys know much about the first major expansion or anything about it. But I mean,
I think Rock, you know more about this.
I don't know. Actually, no, I haven't. I don't know much about the expansion. I mean, I love the game, although to be fair, it deviates quite quickly from any kind of history fairly early on in the game. and then it goes off into folklore and stuff, which is okay. I mean, it's clear delineation. You know that you've gone off into folklore and stuff, and you can go back into a semi-realistic historical context. But no, I think it's a big achievement. I haven't enjoyed it as much as Odyssey or Origins. I think Origins is the best Assassin's Creed game anyway. Just the ability to go around the Sphinx and into the pyramids, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm still playing Odyssey from time to time as well. So I don't think it's in that space, but I think it's a good enough game. And I agree with you, Scott. I would, every day of the week, I'd much rather they said, look, we're going to pull it off for a couple of months and polish it up and get it right. I just wish my clients felt the same way. They don't, sadly.
Yeah. There's, I mean, I can understand people being like, well, this is what we expected. This is kind of what we deserve because this is what you promised. But also customers can be very understanding if you're just upfront about it. Like I've had to push back sending out my displays just because there's so much to do and I am only one person. And, there's been a mistake that I've had to fix. And so that's pushed things back a little bit too. But just letting your customers know eases everything like considerably. Like people have the idea that don't ask permission, or like I don't ask permission, I ask for forgiveness. I'd rather come forward first and say this is the problem as opposed to being silent for months and then be like, here was the problem, because that just makes people mad.
Communication is the key.
I think given obviously the current climate around the world regarding to COVID as well, like delays are just,
they're inevitable, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to equilibrium at some point, but for now, you can't really complain.
There is the worry that some people are using it as just an excuse, like they aren't actually delaying for any reason; they're just delaying to delay. I don't think that's really ever the case, though. Nobody wants to push anything back, ever. Like, movies being released, nobody wants to push that back because that's actually money lost. And I get not everybody's money geared, but a business as a whole is money geared. So nobody wants
just the excitement as well. The people that obviously make these games, like they have a passion for it. And I'm sure just as if you'd created something you were proud of, you'd want to release it as soon as possible. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Ubisoft have pushed back on most of their updates, haven't they? Because if you remember, Far Cry 6 has been put back, and we still don't have a release date yet for it. I'm trying to think what the other one was called when you could. There was lots of downhill running and racing and stuff.
Riders Republic.
I mean, that was put back as well. So I think their whole timeline across all development has been pushed out. To be fair, probably for the same reason, Dan.
All right. So we got one thing before we move on, and that is the winners of the GFN 2-month membership giveaway. We're going to go ahead and announce those names. Don't worry if you're not here. We will be in contact with you to make sure that you get your winnings. But we're going to go ahead and list out who the lucky winners are. So we got Pablo from Spain. We got Raul from Spain. There is Gary from good old USA. We got Patrick of Canada. Martin of Hungary. So that's kind of fun. Richard from France. Dave from the UK. Andre, so Andre of Portugal. And then we had two people who were going to win other cool things along with their stuff. So we have William from USA, who gets the stainless steel GSN bottle, and Stephanie, who also is of the USA, who won the stainless steel bottle and the mug. So you guys will be contacted to get your GFN codes for your 2-month memberships. William and Stephanie will be contacted for their addresses so we can ship you your GSN swag. But congratulations, everybody, and thank you, everybody who entered. We had almost 1,000 entries, which was totally cool.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Wow. And granted, every person can get up to, I think it was 10 or 15 entries, but still, that's a lot of people, and we love that you guys wanted to be part of this. So thank you, everybody who entered. Super cool stuff.
Yeah, well done.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. We're going to change that back, and then we're going to go like this, and then we're going to go it doesn't get much hotter than Dancing Zemo. but let's try with the hot topic. Dancing Zemo is the best thing right now. Anywho, if there's nothing more pure than Dancing Zemo on the internet right now. Okay, so Stadia Dad, aka Lee, aka this wonderful gentleman who is part of our podcast tonight, you headed the Fair Share 24-hour stream event. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was fantastic. You guys raised a decent chunk of money.
Over £2,500 we raised. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
phenomenal.
Incredible. Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit more about that. We love seeing gamers putting something back into the community, especially right now when people are in so much need. Yeah. There is always need, but right now it feels like there's even more. So can you tell us a little bit about how, what was your process pulling this together? How did you contact people, or just any of the good stuff? Tell us the deets.
Like everybody during this time, I needed something to do, something to drive me, something to push forward on. And I was just sat there one night in February, and I was talking to my wife, and I was explaining to her that I needed something to do. And we'd done something at Christmas, myself and my wife, because we run our own business. And at Christmas, we collected some food from our clients, so they all put bags of shopping and groceries together. And we must have gathered around about £200 to £300 worth of groceries and food, and donated that to a local food bank, a local church, local to us. And they were dead grateful, and it was an amazing feeling doing what we did. But I just wanted to go that step further. But I did a bit of looking around on the internet, and I found the guys at Fair Share Manchester, Greater Manchester. And I thought, I've just started streaming. Why not use that to platform off and raise as much money as possible by doing a 24-hour stream? And I was very close and friendly to some guys who ended up on the stream with me, and with Adam, who's with us tonight.
I was friendly with some guys and Adam.
No, because obviously we had the guys that did the stream, and Adam did a lot of the graphics for us, a lot of the technical side. I mean, he put up so much of me at stupid times of the day and night. Adam, how do we do this? I've got an error. But no, that was the whole process of it. And we got a lot of the guys from the community who did plea videos for us. It was just, I think it was about 8-9 weeks of organisation. And the last week, it was just nuts. It was chaos. Everything just felt last minute, even though it wasn't. But yeah, and obviously we got the guys. We got Roger Clark and Rob Whitehoff, who did the voices in-game in the story mode of Arthur Morgan and John Marston. We got them on board as well to do a little plea video, which was absolutely incredible. My wife cried when she opened the email and saw Roger Clark mentioning Stadia Dad and my name. It was just phenomenal. The whole experience was just something I'll never, ever, ever forget. I really can't.
That's awesome. I totally can understand that feeling of happiness, like joy that just comes from being able to give something back. Like, we are put on this earth to give to each other. That's why we have family units. That's why we have friends. That's why we form relationships, is to give something to each other. Without great stuff.
It makes you proud to be part of this community as well. There's been a lot of division and stuff lately. A lot of, it just fills me with confidence again. Really.
Yeah, we went down and we visited the charity a week before, myself and Codex Gaming, just to see sort of where the money would be going and how it would be spent. And at the time, what they do, I'll explain what they do more. That'll make it a lot easier for sort of envision. They're a massive warehouse, and food comes in from oversourced food from supermarkets and shops and other businesses in and around the community, and it comes in and then gets distributed to other charities and community centres and churches, who then distribute it through their communities. But not only do these little tiny charities just give food. They take people in and rehabilitate people. So someone who's down on the luck, so sort of maybe who's drug abuse or alcohol abuse, or come from a broken home or something like that, and they're just really down on the luck, they help them get back on the feet, find a job, and just things like that. So that £2,500 now is literally changing someone's life from being down there on the bottom of the bottom rung and lifting them back up, back to where they should be living life again. And I don't think in 2021 anyone should be living life like that right now. And more of this needs to be done, unfortunately.
For sure.
I can't do a 24-hour stream every week, unfortunately.
As amazing as that would be. So I love numbers. I've always enjoyed math. So can you tell us maybe some of the numbers, like how many people participated? Like how many?
There was myself, there was Colour, Codex Gaming, Blake Stadia. You'll have to help me out here, Rock. I'm drawing a blank. Licky 6. And Good Rebel Gaming, and obviously Adam. Adam did 2 interviews for us on the day with Colour. You keep smiling because I left you laughing.
It's the and. And Adam.
And Adam. He did a couple of interviews for us with Colour, who gave tips, how to play Red Dead Redemption online, how to start, what's the best way to play the game, etc. And then he did a fantastic interview with help me out again.
With William.
Stadia Pro William.
Yep.
About the history of Red Dead and how true to life it is, and the Wild West. And it was a fascinating interview. I think there was 6 of us streaming.
And the beginning and end shows as well.
And we had the beginning and end shows and the pre-show. Yeah.
And I was pretty much there every hour. I'm just making sure the and means something.
Yes. No. If it weren't for Adam and the boys, I don't think any of it could have gotten done. Every single one of them were amazing. True friends that I've never met 5 of the guys, 6 of the guys, sorry. I've never even met them in real life, but I do class them now as best friends because of what we went through together. Pushing, it got to about 2:00 in the morning, and I wasn't too bad, but I came across one of the guys. I'm not going to mention names. And he was gone. He was shattered. In fact, it was 6:00 in the morning. That was it. So we'd been awake now for a good 36 hours, I would say, because we'd been up in the morning as well. Yeah. And he thought he was seeing things. He thought his horse had fell from the sky. That's how bad he got. He thought he was actually seeing things, and it was just little. And I just sort of lifted him back up again and gave him that boost to get through to those last 6 hours. It was just little moments like that I'll never forget that we had with each other, of driving and pushing each other forward, and the laughter. We had a podcast, campfire podcast, actually in game, all sat around the campfire, and the chat went crazy because everybody joined in with us. The guys from Sounds of Stadia was there, and we were just talking games and life, and it was just it was just fabulous, honestly.
And there was also a bunch of guys that Ray played with you pretty much for the whole 24
Ray
hours.
Sherrard, he was not actually an official part of the charity or the drive for it or the 24-hour stream, but he was there from the minute we pressed that first A button to the end as well. Well, I'd say nearly at the end. He did.
Just missed the very last show.
He just missed the very last show, bless him, because he did fall asleep in the Moonshine Shack. Bless him. Yeah, bless him. But no, it was fabulous. And we had guys from Gem jumped in there, Stadia Pro Gaming jumped in there, Kumnar was in there, RJ Stadia, Anthony, just guys from all across the community. I think Meg was in the chat, Megatron, Sammy. Queen Rach, she was in the chat. Yeah, there was just so many names. Eddie Player One. We just had so many amazing names following us and supporting us. I would do it again. So I would do it again tomorrow. If I knew I was going to earn that amount of money again, I would do it again tomorrow at the drop of a hat. You wouldn't have to ask me twice.
It was a great community thing at the right time for Stadia as well.
For sure.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And we had, I think, the guys at Killer Queen Black, Liquid Bit Games, they donated prizes to us. the guys at Robbie Games, who are bringing out Blue Fire for Stadia.
Yeah,
they donated a prize. I mean, these are people, tiny little developers who donated prizes to us, and it's just amazing how the community came together to do this amazing thing. And I'm just so proud to be a part of it.
That's really awesome. I love seeing this kind of stuff. I love seeing people come together who have, maybe one thing in common, but still coming together. It's really cool.
Yeah. I see Anthony in the chat that he did set his alarm for 3:00 in the morning, his time, to get up to do the posse battle. He did, bless him. He did. And I'm not going to read that message, Ray. I'm sorry. There was a mystery noise on stream, and no one's owned up to it yet.
Oh, yes.
It was loud, it was rasp, and it was very, very coarse, yes. No one's owned up to it yet, but it wasn't me.
No.
But no, that's just another one of those moments.
Well, mystery noises aside, though, real quick before we end this up, Avery in chat saying that there's some little bit of breaking news that Stadia will be getting a Resident Evil 8 demo May 1st to May 2nd. So for those of you who like that kind of thing, there you go. Demo it out.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, because they brought the demo out originally for most platforms, didn't they? I wasn't actually that impressed with it, if I'm honest. I was looking forward to it as well, but there you go.
I'm not expecting to be impressed because, as I said earlier, ever since
there's no zombies.
There's no zombies.
Yeah,
I'm willing to give it a try. So,
talking of which, Dan, why was there only 3 episodes at the end of the second part of Walking Dead? There was like 3 episodes in the final second half of the season.
I'll be honest with you. I watched the first and second seasons of Walking Dead, and then I got bored of waiting every time they had like a mid-season break.
Yeah.
So I decided to wait until it was all finished, and then I was just going to binge watch the entire thing. So I've seen some spoilers here and there, but I don't really know much about it. And I've got that many things. This is what I should have realized: is I've got that many things to watch that it's probably going to be years, if you know what I mean, before I actually get to
binge watching has changed my world, because I used to watch TV, and the following week you'd have completely forgotten what the like Game of Thrones was awful to watch every week because it was such a complex story. When you binge watch it, it kind of makes sense.
I mean, I started watching Game of Thrones probably just as the last season started airing, so by the time I caught up with it, I think it was only like the last 4 episodes that I had to wait for, and I did exactly the same with Breaking Bad as well.
Yeah.
We're currently working our way through 24, which is a bit of blast from the past. Bit of
24. If you don't know 24, you don't know Jack.
My missus has a bit of a thing for
I just binge watched the whole of Better Call Saul, and I can't wait. There's one more season coming out next year, and then I'm going to re-watch Breaking Bad, because then you've got all the kind of the backstory to all the characters. Then I loved it.
I don't think I've watched the last season of Better Call Saul. I did start watching it, but
I started, and then because there wasn't one for a year, I lost it, and I've gone back and binge watched the whole thing, and there you go. BingeWatchSource.com.
I was about to make a reference.
Binge source. You're not binge source.
You just need Family Guy and The Office in your life. That's
all. Yes. The Office.
That's all you need. You don't need anything else.
Family Guy is amazing. I'm with you there, Lee.
I got it real quick though. I watched a lot of Walking Dead when I was in college, like up until like 5 a.m. when I probably should have been sleeping because I had classes at 8. Like when I could still do that kind of crap and like function on 3 hours of sleep. And I was watching one of the episodes that deals with the baby, and the baby goes like missing from her rocker thing. Her thing. She goes missing, and there's blood on it. And it was during the week that my child was actually gone with my grandparents, or my parents, so her grandparents. She was with them for a little bit, and so like I just broke down in tears. I was like, I'm never watching this show ever again. That was a while ago. No, anywho,
absolutely.
All right. we're going to move on to the end, I suppose. This is the beginning of the end. We want to say thank you to... Wait, this is when we click, right? Thank you to our patrons and our YouTube members.
I can probably be on the screen.
I don't have it. Dan, do you have it? Are you pulling it up?
Yeah.
I think there's something going on. Down, yeah, there we go. Thank you to everybody who's a supporter of Gaming Source Network, Stadia Source, and GFN Source. We got our Crystal tier, Platinum tier, Gold tier, and Silver tier. We've got also a Bronze tier, which is fantastic. So thank you everybody who's done that. Thank you to everybody who's bought us a hot chocolate as well, and our past patrons. Thank you everybody for your support and for being here. Let's see here. What else do we got? Thank the live viewers. Thank you, live viewers.
Thank you, live viewers.
And we're going to say goodnight to those who have come. Dan, thank you for being on your show.
Thank you for having me on my show. It's nice to be on my show, courtesy of someone different for a change. So.
Rock, welcome to the show again.
It's great. I really enjoyed it. And thank you, Scarlett, for being an amazing host as well. You did a cracking job. Well done.
Better than I could have done.
And Lee, Stadia Dad, thank you for all you have done, and thank you for being here as well. We hope to have you back again. No,
thank you very much for having me, Scarlett. It's been an absolute joy and a pleasure. So thank you. You've done an amazing job tonight, so you should be proud of yourself. Brilliant.
Thanks. If you are listening to the podcast, you can join us live most Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can actually download our podcast on Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Gaming Source Net. Like us on Facebook, turn the beat around, and love to hear the percussion. Join our Discord at stadiasource.com/Discord. And keep an eye out for all new GSN, GeForce Now Source, and Stadia Source merch at stadiasource.com/merch. Hosting has been generously provided by Rock. If you're looking for a web developer, want to launch the next big app, or just find yourself in need of technical expertise, check out all the services provided by Rock at rokk.co.uk. And if you haven't already, down below is a thumbs up button that lets us know you like the show, and right next to it is a subscribe button that lets you know every time we post a new video. You can also become a member of the Gaming Source Network channel by clicking the join button below, with great perks at every level of your budget. I've been your host, Scarlett, and on behalf of Gaming Source Network, your number one source for all things gaming, thank you for joining us on the GSN Round Table. Have a good one.